Mic check. Mic check. I'm actually 2 minutes early. I can't believe it. All right, mic seems to be working just fine, and I will be on screen in just a minute. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday or a great week, or if you're watching this after the fact, just a good day, whatever day it may be. While I am early, I am not 100% prepared. So in a way, I'm not on time, but what can you do? I figure usually there's a bit of a, what's it called? A lack of people in the very beginning. So not that big of a deal to take a minute and get my palette all situated while I do that. Alrighty. There we go. Hello, everybody. Here's a little messy today. Alrighty. So you can't see my palette very well in this view, unfortunately, but I gotta clean it up a little. I'll do that right now. Today I will be finishing up this painting. I'm pretty confident I will get it finished today, or at least everything that I'm going to do on stream. I always say I generally get my paintings to like 98%, 95%, something like that. And then the last like final touches I'll do off stream just because sometimes you just need a little bit extra time. You need to come back and see it later, so on and so forth. Okay, I think it's finally time for some new gloves. I try to reuse gloves as much as I can, just because I don't like to be wasteful. But, at some point, these aren't meant to be reused. So at some point, you gotta just chuck them. But I found a few strategies that make them last a lot longer. For one, I write left and right on them because then I can see when they're inside out or not and which hand they go to. And then I have multiple pairs that I'm using at the same time. And the benefit of that is um, sometimes take your gloves off and you got to put them back on, and they're just you know, a little damp and you can't get them on. So having a second pair to go to is very helpful because eventually they'll dry out and be just fine. Let me check something real quick. Oh, totally forgot to open my Discord. I think I need to remount the camera, just put it up like an inch taller. I seem to keep knocking into it. All right, I think that's clean enough. I was so confident I'd be painting yesterday that I left everything out. I was like, no chance. 100% I'll be painting. And I absolutely did not paint. I need to just get in the habit of putting it away no matter what. I don't even know if it's, oh, some of it's still wet, which means no oiling out for me. Too much of it is wet to oil out. Maybe over here? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't like oiling out just sections. Well, I take that back. I don't like oiling out sections when some of it's wet and some of it's not. When it's all dry and I'm just oiling out like a section to work on, that's fine. But when some of it's wet, I don't really like that because I run the risk of going over wet sections without knowing it. Let's see. Okay, some of that I feel confident I can oil out. Oh, see, it picked up a little bit of white there that I didn't mean to. If anybody lives in a cold climate and you want to paint and you run into the problem that your hands get cold and you can't you don't feel comfortable painting with like, you know, fabric gloves, just know nitrile gloves will make you warmer, quite a bit warmer. They're not the same as like, mittens or anything like that, but they'll do something, that's for sure. Just just a heads up to anyone who needs it. All right. Trying to see what I need to address here. There's a lot of smoke stuff that needs to be addressed, but there's some things in the face that need to be addressed. Dr. Ball's PhD. Funny. Hey, what's going on? Not much. I'm just getting started on this or getting back to this painting today. How are you doing today? So the painting's pretty close to finished. I just need to kind of tie everything together and then go in and add a bunch of the smoke effects too. Look sick. I'm sick. I'm doing good, man. Thanks for asking. Glad to hear you're doing good. And thank you. I'm glad you like the painting. Are you an artist? A lot of times, it's a high percentage that of artists that, people that come here are artists. So I always ask, hey, Des, good to see you. You're here making food. All right. Well, welcome. Good to see you as always. How'd that digital painting go? Did you finish it? Did you get it to where you like it? This is a friend of the show who rarely streams, but does occasionally. Oh, and she also gets auto modded. She says it's crap. Okay. The doctor here says, yeah, I draw. I don't know if I'd call myself an artist though. Hey, it doesn't, you don't need to be, I always say this, right? You don't need to be a professional. You don't need to get paid for it. You don't need any of that. As long as you do it, as long as you enjoy it, as long as it's something that you're interested in, um, that's really all it takes, So that's really all there is to it. If you make art, you're an artist. Doesn't, regardless of quality, regardless of basically anything. Now, whether, being a professional artist, all that stuff, that's a bit different. But, that's also not the end all be all of making art. There's some fantastic artists out there that aren't professional, and there's also a ton of art that it's made, the subjects that it has will never be something that sells, so they have to rely on like grants and stuff like that. But not everybody can get those grants, so there's a ton of art and artists out there who make art just to make it, and no one ever purchases it. Um, so that's not a prerequisite. Also, art's one of those things it's really hard to gatekeep, as in like, you know, is this particular type of art, is this considered art? I mean, some people do, but it just depends. There are limitations to that, of course, but yeah. That says art is subjective? Yeah, absolutely. However, I am leaving some room for some gatekeeping depending on circumstances. Because there are some people who, regardless of what they say, I don't believe are artists. For instance, there are people who, make AI art, and I don't, the way they do it, I don't consider it art. And then there's also, what's his name? Damien Hirst, who his idea of art is to just dissect a shark and he can go fuck himself. So, there's limitations. Uh, the doctor says, yeah, but I think you have to make a living doing art to call yourself an artist. No, you don't. I cook too, but I'm not a chef. Yeah, but chef is a title. And doctor also says, yeah, fuck AI art. True. Chef is also like a title it's a little different. Um, I get what you're saying, but I don't like to put that limitation on people because I want and the reason is because I want to encourage more people to make art, right? Because the more people that make art, like it's better for people in general, right? Making art is good for people and it's good for society. And it's good for professional artists too. So it's like an all-around win. So that's why I don't put the limitations on it like that. Also, um, you never know when you'll start making money off of it too, right? Like not you necessarily, but just in general. There's a lot of artists who are artists before they become professional. So that's why I add the professional part versus non-professional. That says I don't make a dime doing art, but that's too much pressure. I just want to paint and do what I like. You add money into the equation and it's work. True. Also, that's not entirely accurate though. Des is working on this fantastic project for a what's it called? Um, a local charity to help people um, to help the organization that helps people with drug addiction and stuff. So she's doing some really great work, regardless of what she says here, regardless of how humble she's trying to be. But yeah, there's a famous story about there's an artist, I can't remember his name right now. He was considered like a big renowned kind of artist and he but he was not making enough money from it to sustain himself. So his friends got him a job, like a commission from a coffee company, and all he had to do was make a piece of artwork that has to have coffee or coffee beans in it. That's it. Like that was the parameters, and this guy just fell apart under the pressure. So everyone's different. Doctor says that's awesome. Respect to Des. Yeah, I know. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic uh, thing she's doing and working on. And it's really cool. And I think it's a really cool idea. So the idea is they're doing portraits of the people who work at the facility and of the patients, but they're not specifying who's who, and then they're auctioning it off in a charity event. And I think the thing that's cool about that is that they're just showing the people in a more human way without a lot of the stigmas because it could be of the employees, right? You don't know. You have no way of knowing who's who, and so it takes off the stigma, which I think is great. So I think it's a cool concept and a cool charity. It's so cool. I even talked to her about possibly participating in it, but it is very specifically a local thing, which is totally understandable. I'm not local to her area at all, so I totally understand. But it is one of those things where I'm like, man, this is a really cool event and a cool thing to be a part of. So it's her and her sister and mom who put it together and are making it happen, which is really awesome. but they have the backing of the city too, so that's, or the local city or whatever. So all all around really cool thing. This is, yeah, it's anonymous. We don't know who is who. Uh, and she says, heck, we all have struggles. Lots of people are hooked on lots of stuff. Screens, gambling, gaming, etc., etc. Yeah, but no one's hooked on caffeine. No one in this stream or chat is hooked on caffeine. So luckily, nothing like that. But no, I think it's a fantastic thing. I didn't realize that you didn't know either who was who, which I guess makes sense and also just adds to it. That says cats. I forgot important one. Yes, addicted to cats. Yeah, I guess. So for anyone who's new here, like the doctor, uh, I have three cats, but uh, and they show up on stream occasionally. But the main one who shows up on stream is Dresden, who's my little orange boy. Who's um, he fulfills a lot of the orange cat stereotypes. We'll put it that way. I also have a dog, so three cats and a dog. Got a lot of animals here. That says, yeah, that government dude came to interview us and he looked at one of my paintings and said, is that Mikey? And we were surprised because we didn't have anyone's name or what their role was. Oh, that's awesome. No, I think that's great because the whole idea is to show, is to show their humanity. And if you don't know who they are and what their role is, you're just focused on that. I think that's great. So a lot of times, by the way, for anyone who's new here, when I'm painting, you'll be able to see my palette. But because this painting, which is a small 8 by 10, is horizontal, if, and because it's so small, I want you to get in as close as possible. You can't see much of my palette at the moment, but usually you can see a lot more of it if that's of interest to you. If not, whatever, that's fine too. Some people don't care about that, but some people definitely care. All right, Des. This is my little mall stick. It's a very, very flimsy one that I do not recommend using, but it's what I got, so I use it. I'll be honest, I don't know why it's called a mall stick. I'm sure it's a translation thing, but I have no idea. It just refers to a stick that you use to like steady your hand to stabilize it. Bought this one because it collapses so it can be portable um, in case I go plein air painting. Dr. Ball says your lighting is so good. Oh, thanks. It's I bought this it's a those like what are they called? Um oh, they're cylinder lights. What are they? Fluorescent light bulbs. It's this one isn't. It's LED, but it looks like a fluorescent light bulb, and it has the housing attached to it, so it's not like a light fixture. It just plugs into the wall. Oh, you meant in the painting on that. Well, lighting the painting itself is difficult too. So, but thank you. I appreciate that too. Yeah. It, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, getting the lighting right for the paint, for the not in the painting but for painting is also a challenge sometimes. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I try. The photo I'm using is a what's it called? Um, it's a photo I found online. I use Unsplash a lot to find royalty-free images. If I'm going to be using images from the internet, that's one of my stops. That's where this one is from. But I usually will edit the photo if I get it from the internet. I'll usually edit it a bit to accentuate things and, get certain get certain effects out of it. So I'll pump up the light. I'll blur out some things. I'll add some effects here and there. Do all kinds of stuff like that. A lot of times. No disrespect to your LEDs though. Oh no, no, none taken, none taken. I appreciate the clarification. The LED thing, you don't realize if you're not working on paintings, like if you don't paint, if you you won't realize how much that your light can really affect what a painting looks like. Or maybe you will, but it's less likely, I guess. I originally had some LEDs I bought, like an LED thing I bought for craft people that, for crafters who want to do stuff. But it had a lower CRI rating, which I forget what that stands for. It's like color reproduction rating or something like that. Um, and I was blown away when I bought this LED thing, this LED light. I was blown away by the difference. Like the same painting, literally, I could see colors in the painting that weren't there before because the light source wasn't as good. So if you're going to get into, if you make art, traditional colored art, we'll put it that way. Like if you make color reproductions of art that are in the real world, not on a screen, invest in some decent light bulbs. It's worth it. I know it's a hassle, but it's worth it. You can either get light bulbs that go, into the fixtures that you already have, or if you need, if you need new ones, there's some really great LED options out there that are, they might not be the most cost effective up front, but they last for a long time, so it ends up being worth it. But no offense taken, don't worry about that. Yeah, I have an ongoing series of paintings of people smoking. So this was another one in the series. It's been a while since I painted one, but I thought it'd be nice to do. The thing is, I don't smoke. I'm actually very much against it in principle. I just I don't know what it is about smoking specifically, but I like the way it looks. So I end up painting it, but actually pretty much against it overall. Like do what you want, obviously, you know, your body, your health, whatever. But generally speaking, I don't think it's good for people, so they probably shouldn't smoke. So when I paint, one of the things that happens a lot is there's a lot of back and forth. I'm not, I don't stay in the lines very well, so I often have to go back and like paint back to the place, and then there's a lot of back and forth. Also, when you're trying to do very soft, if you if you try and do very soft edges, there's no way of doing soft edges and staying in the lines because that's the whole idea, right? It's so soft that it blurs the line. So definitely a lot of back and forth in it. Doctor says, I think smoking looks sort of romantic, at least in at least to Americans. Yeah, no, I know. Oh, wait, he also says, yeah, I'm a smoker. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it does. I think it can. And there's a lot of really cool elements to it. And I think my series has like, you know, touches on a lot of those elements in different paintings. Um, but, you know, I, I I think we've gone past the point where people are delusional and think it's like healthy for you. You know what I mean? Like, but of course, yeah, my mom smoked. I know it's extremely difficult to stop. And, you know, I know not everyone is even interested in stopping. So whatever. Yeah, everyone gets to do what they want with their body. That's my point. But yeah, it definitely looks really cool or romantic. It just it can add so much atmosphere to, especially in paintings. It's great. Um, so. So yeah, so I like it a lot when in paintings. That's why that's why I'm trying to think how many paintings I have that are like focused on it. Um, one, two, three, four, five, maybe six. Oh, six, yeah, maybe seven, at least six. It's an ongoing series. It's not like I'm like making uh, you know, I'm preparing for a show with it or anything. I'm just gonna when I get around to it, I do some paintings about it. I have a few ongoing series that are like that, where it's like, I'm not going to try and get them all done all at once, but it is like over time, they'll end up being like an ongoing series. That's the luxury of working from home when you don't have a show planned. You don't have to get them all done at the same time, I guess. So, Doctor, what type of artwork do you like to do when you do it? Anything in particular, or just you know, random stuff? You know, anything, anything and everything is fine. I'm just curious. I need a sip of coffee. Let's see. Yeah, I really like just black and white sketches and stuff that interests me, like some tattoo ideas or fantasy medieval imagery. That's cool. Very cool. There's some, you know, I don't, I'm not on Twitch as much as I used to be, but there used to be a lot of really cool tattoo people streaming on Twitch. I don't know if they're still doing that as much, but there used to be some really cool people here. Some just do artwork, but they're also tattoo artists, and some what's it called? Some actually do tattoo. You know, they work on the like fake skin stuff. I'm sure some people do some real tattoos too. I just don't know those people. That says I used to really like watching Ink Masters. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was a cool show. I have a friend who has told me repeatedly that I should get into tattooing and become a tattoo artist, but I feel like they don't real recognize like how much work it is to get good at tattooing. Like even if you're a really great artist, I suspect that getting really great at tattooing is probably a lot of work as well, like years of work, I assume. It seems to me like it'd be more than just changing mediums would be, because like just changing mediums, I feel like you can go from one medium to another pretty quickly if like if they're close to each other, right? Like I don't like acrylics, but I think I could transition to acrylics if I needed to for some reason fairly quickly. But it's not the same as tattooing. This says I'd be horrible at it. I have a tremble in my hand. Well, sure. If you have a tremble in your hand, you probably would not be good at tattooing. Although, maybe not. I don't know. Like, maybe you'd be great at it. What if it countered the tremble of the machine? And so you had the steadiest hand in the world. Doctor says your oil painting work is brilliant. I'd be afraid to lose the talent if I switched mediums. Um, well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I will say that um, oil, specifically oil paint, speaks to me in a way that no other medium has in the last, I don't know how long. But the reality is like I used to be an all digital painter at one point. And when I went to school, I never studied oils. I actually studied watercolors and acrylics. So the transition was very slow. Don't get me wrong. Like it took me forever to transition. But part of the reason was time and like not having direction on how to use the medium and everything. But you can the basics, like the basic knowledge of painting doesn't apply to any particular mediums. There are specifics to a medium for sure, right? Like the way the paint interacts with in certain ways with certain mediums and all of that stuff. But all that stuff is actually kind of the easy stuff to learn, right? Overall, like uh most of the it's funny because most of the what they call the hard skills in art, which are like the mediums, how the medium interacts with things, the you know, learning perspective, learning anatomy, learning like all those things which are considered the hard skills, and they're considered hard not as in difficult, but hard as in like what's it called? Like tangible or practical or whatever you want to, those are actually ultimately in the long run, those are actually the easier skills to learn. The like I said, it doesn't feel like that in the beginning, but almost every artist, I think, that gets to a certain stage will agree with that, because at a certain stage it stops being about the technical things and the technical abilities, and it starts becoming like a combination of those technical abilities and conceptual ideas and like your thought process and so many other things, I think. So yeah, but I mean, so transitioning is definitely possible. It's a lot easier if you have a teacher though that can like really help you in that transition, because I tried to do it on my own and with YouTube. And don't get me wrong, you can learn a lot from YouTube, but having having someone just kind of give you a little more direction on certain hiccups that you're coming across can be very helpful. Having said that, there's a lot, I think, a lot more and a lot better channels on YouTube now than there were when I started getting into oils. So, um, yeah, it's totally doable. Let's see. Des says my line work would suck. I'm not one for solid lines. That's fair. And Des says, nah, you gain talent or experience, I should say. You find what you really like. Be right back. Yeah, no, for sure. And when I first tried to get into oil paints, first of all, I was afraid of oil paints because I'd heard all the like, oh, they're toxic. Oh, there's all these problems with it. There really isn't. It's overblown. I mean, there is, but it's overblown. If you know what you're, a little bit of knowledge will prevent basically everything. It's not a big deal. Um, and then, what was I going to say? Yeah, it took a while for it to click, honestly. It took a couple of years, but I remember there was this moment where everything just kind of clicked and I was like, oh, that's it. This is my medium for now, at least. There's just something that, like I said, just kind of clicked in my brain, and it just started behaving and doing the things I wanted it to, the way I wanted it to. And that was the moment where I was like, yeah, yeah, this is it. This is it. Also, personally, I just find working in oil paints more enjoyable. More enjoyable than even digital. So yeah. But everyone's going to be different when it comes to that. But you definitely need to give things a chance, and like a probably a longer chance than you think, because it definitely took me a while to get into oil paints. And a lot of the reasons it took me so long was because I was doing a lot of things wrong too. Like I wasn't using the right types of brushes. I I also think I wasn't using good paint. Um, there's all these like technical things. Surface. The surface I was painting on was awful. Like all those things made it so it just took a lot longer than it needed to. But one of the things I tell people is if you want to make certain type of artwork, usually most people are influenced by someone, right? So usually you can be like, I want to make this type of artwork, and these are some of the influences I have that make that type of artwork. If there's a particular type of artwork you want to make that's similar to certain artists, see what they use to make it and start there. Not saying it's a guarantee, not saying you have to go with it, but it's a solid starting point if you're not sure what to get into. Because different mediums have inherent properties that lend themselves to certain things. It's not a guarantee. It's not that you can't, push them into different directions. But if we're talking about like ease of use, yeah, that's pretty much the way to go with it, I think. Unless you already know what medium is your medium, in which case just run with it. If you found it already, keep going. All right, let's see. And of course, with when it comes to artwork, a lot of things I'm saying, like these are, my opinion. These are things I've seen in the past and so on. But art is very subjective. And if you feel differently about things, that's cool. Welcome back, Des. Hey, Lost Pixel. Good to see you. How you doing? Lost Pixel also streams on Twitch. He does uh 3D modeling on Twitch, which is really cool. How goes it? It's going good. How you doing? Doing okay. Tired? Yeah. I'll let you know when I'm not tired. I think I'm almost always tired. Actually, I'll be honest, I'm not that tired today, relatively speaking, which is nice. Aspects is LOL, right? Yeah. No, generally speaking, I'm pretty much exhausted. But today, not horrible. Yesterday, I made the mistake of going to bed early the night prior. So you'd think that I'd be not tired because I went to bed early and got enough sleep. But it's quite the opposite a lot of times. It's like my body's like, oh, I don't know what to do with all this sleep. I need more sleep to deal with it. Which, it's just the stupidest thing ever. Honestly, I think that would be maybe not my strongest, but one of my strongest arguments again in intelligent design. I slept too much. I'm tired now. Okay. Clearly, I wasn't designed well. But yeah, otherwise I'm doing good. I'm going out tonight to the art collective, a local art collective here in Austin. Actually, there's a couple. And there's another one I need to go check out at some point. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think I'm in favor of there being, art collectives and so on. I wish I'd known about them earlier, but it is what it is. I know some smoke is going to cover that, but I still needed to paint back into it a bit to get some of that information back. I'll probably be going back into this one more time at the very end because these type of details are just, you know, kind of the final touches on things a lot of times. Especially since I'm going to be going over everything and putting in like all the smoke effects and everything. That stuff has a tendency to kind of get a little messy and sometimes out of hand. Just a little bit. Actually pretty hard to figure out on this painting. Some spots it's kind of hard to figure out if is it lighting or is it the smoke because they're so kind of blown out and intertwined. Not that that's a bad thing either. I like the ambiguity of it all. I just have to paint it is the problem. The Lost Pixel, when's your next stream? Thursday? If I remember correctly, you said Thursday? Lost Pixel says, got some more emotes made and approved, but still not super happy with them. Are those your new emotes? Oh, it's a guy with a hat on? Is that what it is? My avatar. Oh, cool. Cool, 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 cool. I haven't seen your avatar yet. Awesome, man. Sorry, I have not been on Twitch that much lately. So, it's tough because I want to support the people I know and, I like their stuff, but at the same time, I'm just if I want to get stuff done, I often need to just go off of the internet and focus on the things I need to get done, because otherwise I just won't get it done. So unfortunately, that means that a lot of times I miss a lot. Can I share a link? Yeah, you're on Twitch, so you can share a link. Yes, as long as it's Twitch safe. TOS safe, I mean. All right. Des says the trick with Twitch emotes is contrast and color saturation. Yeah. Pixel says it's my avatar, so it better be Twitch safe, lol. Sure, sure. Okay, cool. I will take a look at it in a minute. Yeah, I have one emote and it's kind of to mixed it's kind of a mix of whether or not it's successful or not is kind of depends on, like, some people think it's very cool, some people think it's cool but it doesn't read very well, so it just kind of depends. Yeah, that's it. So I made that so long ago, it's crazy. The funny thing is it really doesn't go with my, like, brand or anything, but yeah. I've been making a few changes to it since I made that pick, so it won't 100% look the way when I'm streaming, and it may not be ready in time for my stream because working on commissions. Nice. Yep, it is Godzilla in a tux. That is correct. I did that years ago for it was a pink epoxy stream that I created a backdrop for an online prom that she was hosting and doing. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I see your avatar. Very cool. That's nice. That's cool. I'll share it in my YouTube chat. There's no one there right now, but in the future, someone might want to look at it. This is I've made a bunch of Star Wars ones, Harry Potter ones, and other for other people. I don't prefer doing emotes, but it gave me a little money. That's fair. I was always planning on making more, but then I took a break from streaming, and now I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube doesn't really have that. Maybe they do. I don't know. I think I'm just going for a different crowd ultimately. Like I know people on Twitch like the emotes and stuff, but I don't think, it's not to say that you can't enjoy them and still be a fan of me. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. But overall, the kind of like the crowd of people that I'm targeting are a little less interested or care about it. So I'm just not focused on it at the moment. Lost Pixel says, right? Yeah, yeah. Let's do some back stretches real quick. Ah. So I paint standing up. So sometimes when I do like back stretches and stuff, I just go down to the floor. That's why I like disappear from the screen. Just thought I'd mention it since not everybody knows, I forget, I not forget, but I don't think about it sometimes. Sometimes, people are watching for the first time. They don't know. I just duck out of screen. Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. I mean, I use the floor for all, workouts, stretching, playing with the cat. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I spend a lot of time on the floor, which sounds wrong, but whatever. It's the same thing if you have kids. I've seen kids. I don't have any, but I've seen them. I have friends who have kids, and it's a lot of floor time involved in that. This says if you've got the floor, I wouldn't be able to wait. If I got on the floor, I wouldn't be able to get up without help of four-man team and the first responders. Oh no. Lost Pixel says I used to spend a lot of time on the floor when I was younger, sub 16. LOL. Same for me nowadays. Yeah. Well, that's how it is when I throw out my back, that's for sure. Luckily, that's not the case right now. Actually been working out lately. I'm working out at home. It's not like I'm going to the gym or anything, but I'm making an effort and I'm seeing some slight improvement, which is really nice, you know. Last year I went to physical therapy for like a year just to get to this point. So yeah, it's really nice to make some progress. I need to do more of the like physical therapy workout stuff that they gave me. I do need to focus more on that, but at least I'm doing something. Besides, Dresden needs me to chase after him throughout the day because he gets bored and wants to play, so I have to be able to like run around the house. Otherwise, he will go insane. So Dresden, I'm becoming that person who's telling stories about his cat. So if you don't want to hear that, fuck off, I guess. I don't know. But he will. It used to drive me crazy when I was working because he would come outside my room and start crying and rubbing against the wall and all kinds of stuff. All because he wanted me to get up and chase him. So I'd get up and then chase him, then I'd go back to my computer and he'd come back and would just do it over and over again because he would get bored and he wanted to play and stuff like that. So he's silly. And he still does that, just I'm not at work now, so it's easier for me to chase after him. So I kind of painted over the nostrils, but I'm gonna have to go back in and paint them back in. They're not gone forever. They're just temporary. Noses are a very complicated shape in a very small area. Now, if you have trouble with them, keep that in mind. Sometimes it's just a matter of simplifying them um, to match the size. Sometimes it's a matter of getting a smaller brush or both. It just depends. So a little trick, I don't usually wash my brushes while I'm painting, and I don't switch brushes based off a color. But when you need like a very pure color, one of the tricks you can do is you can switch brushes. You can wash your brush very well, of course. You can use silicone brushes. Those also work. They're not real brushes. They're just like silicone wipe thingies. Um, or rubber. I don't know what they are. But another trick is you can just take your brush and you can either clean it with oil, dip it in some oil and, you know, clean it like this, which I do. I do clean it like this a lot, but sometimes this isn't enough. So another thing you can do is just grab some like white paint. Works with other colors too, but white is a very good one. And just grab some white paint and mix it with nothing, and that starts to take a lot of the color out of the brush until it's clean enough for you. So also, I guess it works with black too. If you're going to be painting, if you painted something light before, now you need to go into something dark, that also works. Any color really works. It's more just an issue of like being able to see it easily. And also if it's a strong tinter or not. Probably don't want to do that with phthalo blue because it's a ridiculously strong tinter, and then your brush will be saturated with phthalo blue, and you'll never be able to paint anything that isn't blue. So, might want to avoid that. This is one of the reasons I normally leave the very end for off streams, because I get so focused on some of the details and some of the things that I stop talking. It's hard to talk through everything all the time. Some some things definitely take up more attention than others. Mm, Got a message. Let me check and see if it's anything important. Okay, nothing important. Just making sure. That says I'm making a to-do list to get back on track, and it's just making me bummed and tired. Yeah, I get that. Maybe make two lists. One is a like global to-do list, and the other is like the next step to-do list. Maybe that'll help. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm having a hard time talking sometimes while painting. I'm trying. I'm making an effort, but all right, let's use Photoshop and check a color real quick. I generally try to avoid doing this, but every once in a while it's useful. And I also can't find my little uh color checker thingy. I don't know where it is. Easy to forget that smoke, like to think of smoke as like a kind of a 2D element, but it definitely has like dimension to it and can have light and shadow on it. So worth keeping that in mind. Not to say that it has to be like extreme. I may have overdone it on some of this right now, but yeah. Let's see, Des says, I think the priority is trying to figure out what to do with the digital piece. Do I do an acrylic of her instead? And I need to edge edge the canvases of the others and varnish. Do you mean when you're saying edge the canvases, you mean you need to like paint the rims? They're like rims? Is that what it's like around the edges of them? Do you have to? I don't know. I never paint on canvases pretty much, so I don't know. Well, does if you need any if you want a second pair of eyes on your digital piece, you're more than welcome to send it to me. They want the sides painted. My sister is building floating frames, but wants the outer edges done. Okay. I mean, usually you don't really see it in floating frames if they're tight, but that's fine. That's what they want. That's what they want. So just trying to get right now, clearly I'm doing the smoke. It's difficult. I don't want to overdo it, but I definitely want it to be there. And it is a focus of the painting in a lot of ways. So trying to get that balance. Also, I'm trying to push some of the uh, impasto because I do love that effect. And there is a degree of like things melding together in the reference image. So I'm okay with losing some clarity as to what is what, because her hair and the smoke are so overexposed that they kind of mesh together in some areas. Another thing that I've learned over time is when it comes to smoke, a lot of times, like in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's just white. But or gray or whatever, but a lot of times because of its transparency, you have to actually paint it closer to the color that it's covering because it, comes in and out of view depending on its, um, what's it called? Like how thick it is or how much there is. I'm running into a problem here of some dry canvas touching like wet. So we're gonna have to cover up a lot of this just to repaint it. I think I've been holding my breath without even noticing. Probably not good for me. Alrighty. It's a little noisy now. I need to smooth it out a bit. Soften some of it up. Not to say that I'm going to get rid of all the hard edges or impasto, but some of this just needs to be softened up a bit so it's not as noisy. And when I say noisy, I'm talking about visual noise, if anyone's not familiar with the term. Trying to soften some of these edges, and not just the edges, but also just bring a lot of the colors closer in value so that they blend optically together more where they need to. All right, this one's a little small for this. Let me go get a bigger one. Mm, no, I have a bigger one. Oh, here it is. Okay, found it. In some ways, this might not really give the appearance of smoke, but because it's so blown out, I want to get that unified, uh, you know, look to it that I would rather make some of it not look like smoke to get the unifying effect of the smoke. Then I can always try and go in and brush in smoke to it. All right. I think I'm calling this one done. I'm going to do some more work on it on my own because I definitely need to go in and like clear up some of the detail. But, you know, that's like I said, there's a certain amount of detail I need to just leave for some time to just spend on it by myself. Um, you know, just go in there and refine some of the very, very final aspects of things. I think it's funny. Sometimes I do this with paintings where it's like all of this definitely takes the focus, and then the face kind of is almost a subtle second read. And I don't really mind that at all. I kind of like that because I think it at least makes it interesting where we're so focused on the face all the time on everything. So yeah. Also think one of the eyes needs a little adjustment, but you know, kind of like I said, minor adjustment to do. Talking like millimeters here. So I'll be working on that too. Let's see. Yeah, 2 hour stream for today. That sounds about right. Thursday, I'll start a new painting. It'll be something different. Anyways, thanks everyone for stopping by. Thanks for the company and everything. Oh, the 25th. That's right. August 25th. It is the Portrait Artist of the Year paint along. I created a event in my Discord. Let's see. Julio is here. He says, yeah, the second read helps keep staying in the painting. Love watching the stream. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Last Pixel says, have a good one, Leon. Des, yeah, Des, have a good one. Last Pixel, you too. Thank you everybody for you know, being here. Appreciate it. Like I said, Thursday will be a evening painting stream, and I'll be starting something new. Des says I will be attending the paint along. Yes, the Portrait Artist of the Year paint along is a group thing for me and the viewers. So everyone is invited to join. It is us pretending we're on the show, but without all the pressure because it's not a competition. It's just for fun. But yeah, highly recommend participating. It's a lot of fun. All right. Have a good one, everybody.